The fourth and crucial fact that I must share with you is the absolutely amazing power of leverage. Lack of understanding of this crucial business fact is the reason why most people will never become successful. You see, when you work for an hour, you only get an output of an hour. So let's call this 1 human hour. You work 60 hours, you get an output of 60 human hours. That's your productivity ratio, 1 to 1. If you want to make more money, you can do what I did when I was younger, working at a supermarket, pushing trolleys, and then at McDonald's. I had reached a week where I worked 87 hours and just literally could not fit in any more hours in a week. That was the store's maximum opening hours. I got paid for it, all right, but it made me realize two things. The first was I made a fraction of what the business owner had made. And secondly, I was trading my hours for dollars. And that model, I was limited by the number of hours I could put in. This helped me gain clarity of the reality of this brutal world. So far, I believe that what I've said is common sense. When you trade your time for money, you will remain poor because the vehicle you're using is akin to that of a donkey. And if you're riding a donkey as your vehicle, it will take you a lifetime to get to your destination. That is, if you're even lucky to get there, which most people aren't. Bottom line is this: you can work the donkey as hard as you like, it will only move at a certain pace. In my situation, the owner of McDonald's might have only worked 40 hours in his week, but because he had 40 employees working in his store, he was benefiting from the total number of human hours coming in from each one of his employees, and I was one of them. I put in 87 hours and got 87 human hours worth of value. The owner had put in 40 hours that week, but had the cumulative of 1,500 human hours and generated massive income for his restaurant. Sure, the owner was paying his employees, but for the sake of this example, I want you to just focus on the difference of human hours output and how the owner understood and was using the power of leverage. My 87 hours in that week, his 1,500 plus hours in that week. Leveraging your time is the ability to work for 1 hour and get an output that is much more than that. Think of it this way. Imagine we're both at the start line of a race. I'm standing there by the start line, and you too are at the start line. Only you are sitting in a sports car that has a 500 horsepower engine. Now, if you were to take a wild guess, when the whistle is blown, who do you think has made it first to the finish line? Exactly, you. Why? You had the leverage of not just one person, but the power of 500 horses when the pedal hit the metal. There was no way I stood a chance. And I can hear you say, oh, that's unfair. Oh, it is unfair. It's an unfair advantage that's all too common in life. In this case, it's not really unfair because it's an advantage that anyone can have through this industry. All they need to do is to make a choice to utilize the power of leverage. In this business, if you're able to speak to, say, 2 people, 3 people, or 4 people, and they too want to do the business, then you are able to enhance your rate of productivity by adding human hours to your business. Let's give you an example. Let's say that everyone is only doing this business part-time and is putting in 10 hours a week. When you're one person, if you put in 10 hours, your output is 10 hours. Let's be conservative, and we'll say that you bring in 1 person to join your business. And every person from there on does the same. Just 1 person joins them to also do the business with them. Here's what it will look like using you as the focal point. When your business grows to 2 people, you're still putting in 10 hours a week, but your output is 20 hours now. You have already doubled your productivity. When 2 gets to 4, which is each person bringing in on board a new associate, a distributor, or a partner into business, now for every 10 hours that you're doing in that week, you're getting 40 hours worth of productivity. Suddenly now, what you're doing in 10 hours a week equates to the productivity in terms of human hours of an average full-time worker in a week in the Western world. So let's continue and double this. 4 goes to 8, 8 goes to 16, 16 goes to 32, 32 goes to 64, 64 to 128, 128 to 256, 256 to 512, 512 goes to 1024, 1024 goes to 2048, 2048 goes to 4096. I'll stop here before the maths gets too complicated. Remember, you're still doing 10 hours a week, but at this point, for every 10 hours you're actually doing, you are getting 40,960 human hours. That's multiplying the people in your network by 10 hours of work that they would each do to build their own business and help benefit yours at the same time. If I was to simply put 40,960 hours into context for you, this is the equivalent of 1,024 people working for you in your business full-time doing 40 hours a week. Can you imagine if you had a traditional business where you had over 1,000 employees all over the world doing that many hours? Wow! That's just crazy, crazy, crazy productivity. Talk about achieving more and stressing less. Another context is that if you were to work out the average of 40 hours a week by a person working in the Western world, the productivity you can be putting in 10 hours a week is equivalent to, get this, over 19 and a half years worth of work. And I haven't even taken into account the holiday weeks and sick leaves. I will say it again because it's actually frightening in a great way. Your 10 hours a week is suddenly the equivalent of 19 and a half years worth of productivity. Have a hard think about that. My friend, what we're talking about is not just a jump, it's a leap. It's the difference. This is the reason why the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class are rapidly disappearing. And to top off the huge power of leverage through the direct selling and network marketing industry, you have all the upside of benefiting from all the human hours without having to babysit employees. In this industry, the people that you work with are in business. They are a business owner looking to build something for themselves, and it happens to benefit you too. In essence, you have business partners who share the same vision and want to achieve their goals and dreams using a common vehicle. Has the time come for you to work smarter and not just harder? If you get the absolutely amazing power of leverage, then your life will never be the same again. How can it ever be now that you know what you know?